I've been waiting. I knew you would be here. Well. I just smashed my foot. Well, what do we have here?
How's it going? This is Editor Phobia. Here to let you know that I had a bit of an issue with my audio, so I have to apologize. The audio that I have was captured by my webcam. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what happened. The audio got corrupted and it sounded like absolute dookie. So, the audio is not as good as usual for this video, but please stick with me and it will definitely be fixed by next video. Thank you very much, and I hope you still enjoy the show. Well, hello there. How is everyone today? Managed to break free again. Always exciting. So today we're going to start things off a little bit different. If you notice, my cursor is, well, it's upside down again. That's a bit of an annoyance, but easy fix. So there was an update, and they changed how a couple of the settings work with Hyprland, so we got to go in and fix them. So before I have you do an update, we're going to go ahead and open a terminal. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and sudo vim, and we're going to edit our config file for Hyprland real quick. So that's going to be in .config /hyper/hyperland.conf. And then enter in your password. Alright. Now, originally what we had to do is we had to enter in this environment variable here in order to get our cursor to show upright. And granted, we had a double cursor, but at least it pointed to the correct area, and things, for the most part, worked fine. This no longer works with the new update, but we're going to leave it here for now. What I want you to do is scroll down. You're going to find this input section right here. Now go all the way to the bottom here, just above key bindings, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to enter in cursor. Then you're going to do curly braces. Then you're going to pop that down a couple spaces, 4 spaces in between, and then you're going to type no underscore hardware underscore cursors, and that's going to be set to equal to true. Now, all this is lowercase. Once you have that put in, go ahead and save and exit. And now immediately you notice that my cursor went back to upright. That is the new method for that fix with the most recent update. So now that that is done, you will no longer have to deal with that. After you do an update, it should just automatically be fine. Your cursor should be the correct way, and then we'll go through after we do an update and we'll remove that the old line that no longer is relevant. But for now, we'll leave that in and just do an update. So sudo pacman-syu, and just go ahead and update your system. Now this, I actually do have a few things. Your update should be quite a bit bigger than mine, so it's going to take a minute. Just go ahead and proceed with it, and once it is complete, then we'll continue. Alright, and that is complete. So go ahead and open back up your config file for Hyprland. Now we're going to scroll up, And we are going to find our old environment variable that is no longer needed. It is a waste of code. Get it on out of there and go ahead and save and quit that. Now let's give a reboot. All right, rebooting. Now that we're at the login screen, go ahead and log in. And now you should have a fully updated system, and our cursor should be exactly how it was when we left it last time, where we left off. Okay, so next thing we're going to do, because I realized I kind of left you off without having a way to kind of exit without logging out with Super Shift M. So go ahead and open up your terminal, and we're going to go ahead and just do a yay hyphen capital S, and just go ahead and install wlogout and pass that through. Go ahead and hit A for all, and then go ahead and hit N for none. We don't need to see the diffs. Then say no for removing the make dependencies, and yes for import. It's gonna need our password, and go ahead and proceed with the installation. Proceed with the installation again, and that is done. Now, if you hit Super Q, it'll bring out our login, logout menu, and shutdown menu. So you can, reboot, log out, everything right from this menu now. You can also get to that by clicking up here on the power button. It will open up the same menu. All right, now, next step, before we get into customizing things, we need to go through and set some system settings through the KDE System Manager. It's just going to be easier if we do this first. So go ahead and open up by doing a Super R. That'll bring up your Wofi menu, and just type in, look for KDE System Settings, all one word, and it should pop up in your list, and hit enter. And that will bring you to here. And what you're going to do is you're going to click on this More Appearance Settings button, and that's going to bring us to our colors and themes. Now, what you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to go ahead and click on Breeze Dark to start. And if there's a checkbox over here, if there's two of them, click both of them, and then go ahead and apply that. Now we're going to go ahead and go down to Application Style, and we're going to choose what our application style looks like. Personally, I prefer the breeze myself, so I'm going to leave that where that is. But if you prefer any of these others, go ahead and pick those and then hit apply. Then going down to plasma style, we have breeze, breeze dark, breeze light. Looks like we have Jade KDE rather installed, and it looks like we have a sweet amber blue installed. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Jade because I do like Jade. Now, you probably do not have Jade or the sweet amber blue installed. If you would like to get new on top of what is here, go ahead and click this button here, and it's going to pop up a little store, a little KDE store, where you can go ahead and download your liked style. So go through that, pick what you want, and once you are done and you have your plasma style set, we are going to go ahead and go down to window decorations. Now, I prefer not to have window decorations. You can set oxygen if you want, or you can have the plastic theme. I just, honestly, I prefer the Breeze over these other two. And again, you can get new if you like. I'm going to skip that, but feel free to pause the video and go through the store and pick out what you want, and then play when you are ready, and we will continue. Going down to oxygen. Now, I'm not going to set... Actually, you know what? I'm going to just go ahead and set this here. We're going to be using another program and doing a little bit more in a minute. This is specifically setting the style for the KDE applications specifically. Now, I already went ahead and installed this icon set. Again, click New and go through the store and pick the icons that you like the best. And once you are ready, we will move on down to cursors. Now, cursors, I like the Oxygen Black, and I also like the Zion, but I think I'm going to stick with the black. I'm going to hit apply. Then coming down to splash screens, I have this Arch Simple Blue installed, which I prefer. Again, if you want more than what is here originally, which I believe is the Breeze, the Oxygen, and then none, go ahead and click New and get the one that you enjoy the most. Then hit apply. Then coming down into login screen, we already have that set, so I'm not going to mess with that. Boot splash screen, we do not have the capability to set. We don't have a boot splash screen that shows up when we're booting from Grub. It just kind of skips over that phase. So we are now all set here, and we can go ahead and exit. Okay. Now, with that done, I'm pulling up a page right here, and I will, let's see, here we go. So here is a discussion that was had on the Hyprland GitHub about dark mode. And this goes through and shows you how to get dark mode working properly with Hyprland. And what we have to do is we have to add these lines here into our config file. But in order for these to work, we actually require some dependencies, some packages that we need to install. So these two packages right here that are listed, we need to go ahead and install. So we're going to go ahead and get that out of the way. We're going to open up a terminal, and then we're going to do sudo pacman-s. Then we're going to do xdg hyphen desktop hyphen portal hyphen, and the first one is going to be GTK. Then we're going to do xdg, oops, I did that backwards. So then the second one we're going to do is xdg hyphen desktop hyphen portal hyphen, and then this is going to be Hyprland. And then enter in your password and install those packages. Alright, and that is now done. So then we can go ahead and open up our config file and, excuse me, go ahead and enter in these 3 lines right here. Exactly how I have these. Enter these in your environment variables underneath what is set for your cursor by default. I will give a second here so you can go ahead and pause this video and read those out and get those typed out. Okay, and now that you have those typed out, we're going to go ahead and save and quit. And now I want you to do a sudo pacman-s, and then you're going to do qt6ct and hit enter. And go ahead and install those packages. And now that those are installed, go ahead and give a reboot. Alright, now that we're back at our login screen, go ahead and enter in your password and log in. Now that we're logged in, go ahead and open up your Wi-Fi menu with Super R, and we're going to type in QT, and that should bring up QT6 settings. Go ahead and hit enter. And here we're going to set our theming for our QT6 applications. So up here you have 4 categories: Fusion, Windows, Oxygen, and Breeze. Now I like the look of Oxygen. And I'm going to go ahead and do custom and darker. I'm going to apply. And as far as fonts, I'm going to leave that. You can go ahead and set whatever font you prefer. Icon theme, I'm going to go ahead and set the Baphomet that I had downloaded. You can select the icons that you have downloaded. And then the rest of this, I'm going to not mess with. Feel free to go through and do what you like for yours. The standard is fine for me. Going to go ahead and click OK. And now we should be in complete dark mode with our custom icons. And I'm actually not 100% sure why that did not give us the option to set our cursor. Interesting. I could have swore there was a cursor icon, or a cursor option up here. Interesting. Anyways, moving along. So with that, I would like to go through the config file for Hyprland a little bit more. So go ahead and open up your terminal and do the sudo vim.config/hyper/hyprland.conf and open that up. So let's go ahead and scroll up to the very top here. Now, in previous episodes, we talked about setting our monitor. So that's all set. We talked a little bit about how to set our programs, to be able to call a program. I'm not going to go through too much today because we're going to be downloading and adding different programs to our Waybar and to our system, which is going to require us doing a lot of this in the future. But I do just kind of want to go through this config file and kind of go through every little section, because next episode is more heavy customization where we actually get into some style files and start manually changing some code to get things to look exactly how we want. But in order to do that, we're going to be interacting with our config file on occasion, and this is going to be a good starting point. Getting yourself familiar with your Hyprland config file is important because you are going to be in it often. So, as you can see, in order to call a program, first we have to do $ and then the name basically that we're going to be utilizing. So this would be like the ID of the code that we want to call. So obviously VS Code is code, so I just kept it simple with code. wlogout's wlogout. NC notification client, so you get the idea. File manager's file manager. That's how you would kind of go about naming your programs. And then as far as calling it, it's as simple as how would you call it from a terminal. Brave, you would obviously do Brave. Sway NC would be Sway NC client. Wlogout's wlogout. So on and so forth. So like here, you can even set to call a specific website and set that to a keybind. It's pretty cool. You can do a lot of cool stuff. It's fun. And then down here is your auto start programs. this exec once will execute this program once upon login. So we have Waybar, we have our Network Manager applet, our Blueman applet, which of course we're in a virtual environment, so I don't have a Bluetooth module installed on this virtual machine, so we're not going to get Bluetooth. But if you're on bare bones and you have Bluetooth, you would install Blueman and the applet would show up automatically in your little tray area up here along with your Network Manager applet. And then obviously this is our Sway network, Sway notification client, which is not installed. So sweet. Can't showcase that. Brilliant. So anyways, moving down, you already know about our environment variables because we just set them. And the look and feel, this is where you can change, as you saw with the cursor, how the physical look and feel of Hyprland acts. Gaps in, gaps out. You can change your border size, which is obviously this border around the window. Oops. This border around the window. I'm trying to keep my cursor inside the screen area so you can see it. You can make it thicker, thinner. 2's preferable for me. 1's a little thin, 3's a little thick personally, but preference is key. Set it to what you would like. This is the color of your border. So this obviously is your active, and this is one color, this is the other color, and this is the angle at which that they sort of start meshing. So as you can see, you got the two different colors, and you can change. So you can have it more like this, you can have it straight up and down, however you want it. You can get cool with it. And then here you have your inactive border color. So if you have a window open and it's inactive, this one's all colorful, this one's all gray. Now this one's all colorful and this one's all gray. That's where you would change your colors. And then obviously tearing, you can change, add, go to the wiki, you can find a nice list of all the different things that you can go ahead and put in here and adjust and customize. Here you have your rounding, so how round your corners are. You can make it more or less. I like rounded edges personally, so I have that set to 10, I believe is the default. Here you have your active opacity and your inactive opacity, which I leave that at the way it is, and personally I set the opacity in the programs themselves. I don't set it globally through Hyprland just because I like to tweak each individual program to have its own unique opacity level. But again, if you want your inactive windows just to all be a little bit opaque, go ahead and change your inactive opacity to like 0.9 or 0.8. Or if you want to be able to see through them completely, do like a 0.3, 0.4, and you'll barely be able to see them. Now moving down, drop shadow. I like the drop shadow effect, so I leave that on. If you're on something like a laptop and you're trying to conserve battery power, maybe turn that to false. It does take a little bit extra computational power, so it will drain your power quicker. But it's not, I don't personally think it's too horrible. I don't get horrible battery life on laptop, but I also manage my packages accordingly. So that's neither here nor there, though, because we are dealing with a virtual environment. So yeah, this is all just your look and feel. Here are your animations for how the windows move. I don't I'm horrible with with animations.
I have a lot to learn when it comes to animation, so I don't touch this. I like the defaults. Personally, I think Hyprland is beautiful the way it is. So I really honestly don't mess around with the animations all that much. Um, so the rest of this, I pretty much just leave the way it is. Now this section here, this is where you can disable if you do not like the female anime mascots. You can go ahead and disable them. So if you set this to 0 or 1, it says it will disable those mascots, and you'll only get the Hyprland logo and just the basic wallpapers. So like if you're say at like a work environment, or you don't want your family to know you're a weeb, go ahead and change that to 0 or 1. And you can also disable the logo too, so it doesn't, if you just want the abstract background without the Hyprland logo all over the place, which that would make them very, very sad though. So I tend to try to not make the Hyprland people sad. They do hard work. Be nice to them. This is your input section for your mouse and for your keyboard. Again, I don't really touch it all that much. The biggest thing that you probably want to play around with is your sensitivity. Go ahead and play around with your sensitivity until it feels right for you. I have a mouse that I have preset profiles on, so I don't need to mess with this. I can just click a button on the mouse and it changes my DPI for me. But if you don't have a mouse with an adjustable DPI on it, this is how you would set your sensitivity. If it's too fast or too slow, your mouse movements, go ahead and give those a play with. Excuse me. And then here's where we just set our cursor environment, or our cursor variable, to be able to get our cursor pointed up in the right direction. Oh, excuse me, I am so sorry. That's that Coca-Cola coming back to... Sorry, I can't say that word on YouTube. That's that Coca-Cola coming back to... I probably can't say that on YouTube either. That's the Coca-Cola. Don't drink soda, kids. Alright, here you have your keybinds. Now, bind obviously is to bind the key, equals main mod here. This main mod equals super. You can change, so if you don't like the super key, like say you want to use your FN key, your function key for whatever reason, or tab key, like you can change what key you press in junction to the other keys to get the shortcuts to actually function. You don't have to have it set to super. I suggest leaving it at super. I don't think it would be any more enjoyable set to anything else, but if your preference says otherwise, follow what you enjoy and what works for you. And then after that, you would do what, say, terminal is super T, and then that executes our terminal that we had set up at the top. So if we scroll all the way back up here and you see terminal is alacrity. So what's happening is when you're pressing super T, it's just opening up alacrity. It's just calling alacrity in the terminal, and it's just opening up a terminal instance of alacrity. It would work the same with console. It would work the same with Kitty, which is the default. I prefer alacrity, but that's neither here nor there. We will be going over keybinds a lot. That will be something that we do quite a bit of as we add things to this system. And then moving down, we have our different keybinds for our workspace and our focus buttons and our mouse movements. So obviously, if you have more than one window open, you can use super and your arrow keys to go back and forth to which one is the active. And those are the keybinds. And with that, I think I'm going to end this video here. Next video, we will be doing some manual customization of some style sheet files. It's going to be fun. We're going to be getting into our way bar up here, and we're going to be changing this and making it the exact colors that we want. Who knows? We might even get crazy and start changing some shapes and some of these icons and stuff up here. It'll be fun. Anyways, thank you again, as always, for watching and staying and sticking with me. I appreciate it. If you feel you enjoyed the video or you learned something, please give a like, a subscribe, and I would super appreciate it. Love you guys. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Later.